Welcome to Yellowstone National Park. So it's a new week and a new beautiful place.
Yes, it is.
So today we have a special guest with us for this video.
Buff the bison.
And he's here to show us that our topic about unattaching to food is very natural. And we have gotten into a state where we are in a very unnatural place, where we're attached to food. We have a serious attachment issue here. And it's something that has been brought to my attention, and it affected a lot of my life. So, of course, I want to share my knowledge with you and teach you ways that might help you in the future.
Yeah, I think it's really important to acknowledge this concept. And the first part of acknowledgement here is awareness. What really helps people break through with attachment to anything, especially to food, is awareness. And I even think it's a great thing for keeping relationships, proper communication relationships, because people get a little hangry, never know what's going to happen next.
Yes, hanger happens. You guys have seen those Snickers commercials.
It's a reality. But I think awareness is the key, and being able to talk about it and not try to hide it from ourselves and the loved ones. Just something that really allows us to open up and be more vulnerable and be more aware of ourselves.
Yeah, the first real step here is knowledge, and you have to know what's going on in your life. And a lot of times we're so busy that we miss that point and we don't realize how we feel, what we're doing, and why we're doing it. Yeah. So a couple reasons why you may be attached to food. Josh, you want to go into our first one?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest reasons that people do get attached to food is because they seem to have a sense of control around that. When other things in our lives aren't going the way we maybe want, or feel like they're out of control, or we can't create control around certain areas, we find different areas that we can have control over. And food seems to be one of those that's very easily controlled because it's an arm's length away from us at all times, whether we're driving around the streets, whether we're walking to a neighborhood, whether we're in our house. We have an abundance of food, and I think that's something that's easy for people to control.
Yeah, and it doesn't involve another person either. So food is emotionless in its own self.
Sure.
So it's not going to talk back to you.
Right.
Easy to attach to.
Definitely is. I think the biggest thing people forget is that food is a luxury. Yeah. And we didn't used to have food around us at all times. And so we don't need to try to control food, but use food as nourishment, use food as medicine. Use food to really nourish our body and allow us to grow.
Another reason why we might attach to food would be good memories. So maybe memories from childhood, comfort food, you've heard that term before. Certain food is very comforting for us, and we like it, and we like to eat it, and so therefore we create this serious attachment that keeps us there. Another thing that you could find a reason why you might be attached to food is fear and comfort. So again, we said, the term comfort food, it's a fear of breaking away and dealing with our emotions, dealing with the things that are really the most important to talk about or think about or write about. And instead of that, we attach to something that will help us avoid that. Right. So food being that avoidance.
Well, and I think to paint a little bigger picture, most people I guess our culture in general is centered around food, around meals, the way we enjoy company to people, the way we show love to people. Most of the times when people were communing as families, especially when a lot of us were younger, was a food-based scenario. And so we've developed a lot of associations with those positive memories, those happy memories. And sometimes people spend more time trying to get into those positive memory places and creating them for themselves right here, right now.
Yeah, that's very true. So what we want you to do, you may not even realize you're doing it, but you may be very emotionally attached to food. And instead of that, we want you to be really emotionally attached to having a fulfilling life, to your relationships, to, just feeling happiness and fulfillment.
Sure. Knowing that you don't need something outside of you to create that fulfillment.
Exactly. So now we'll run you through a few steps that are helpful to overcoming an attachment to food. If you have heard our words so far and feel like, you know what, that might be me. I might have a serious food attachment, which I would assume that most of us do signing up for this program. Right. So one is knowledge. Knowledge, just knowing that it's happening. Because as we said before, most of us have a block up and we don't see that we actually have this serious attachment problem to it.
Yeah.
So we got to know it's there. We have to know it's happening to us to know how to stop it. So once we have that awareness and we can just kind of see what's happening, then from there we can just slow down and we can make a choice. And having the ability to make a choice is so powerful. Now in this scenario, you can either choose to not attach to food or you can choose to attach to food. We understand that there's two things happening here, and sometimes you will just attach to the food. But it works like a muscle, just like anything else with this program we teach you, is the more that you make a positive choice to not attach to it, the freer you will become. And the more available you'll be to really creating the lifestyle that you want and not being attached anymore to food.
Sure. So I think along with knowledge, the concept of knowledge is having knowledge about what foods can be the most addictive and the most memory creating, even just if it's the remembrance of loving sugar in your body.
Yeah.
That's another area, the actual particles in the food, like sugar, certain fats, that can create that brain bliss association that people crave. It's not always just a memory, but an actual physical element in the food. And so it's really important that we have awareness and knowledge of what kind of foods we need to be conditioning our mind to enjoy for a more positive outcome when we are searching for food.
Yeah, it's feeling good about eating healthy stuff. It's awesome. So then the third thing that we want to do is we want to ask ourselves why it's happening and if it's worth it. This question, is it worth it, really will bring a lot home. And there's something so powerful about writing things down and about journaling. So we really encourage you to take some time after this video and write this all out, even if you want to pause this video and do it right now. We want you to understand why you've attached yourself to food. And we want you to understand that it's not worth it. Certain things are worth it, but food just isn't. We don't need to spend our time, our energy, and our mental capacity on food because we can spend it so many other amazing, fulfilling places.
Certainly. So true.
Yeah, so we really empower you to take a step forward and understand your attachment to food. If it does happen, know it's okay, know it's happening, be able to shift your mindset and take yourself to a new place, and then ask yourself if it's really worth it, and just build that muscle every day. Once you sit down to a meal, or maybe you grab yourself a little snack, that's when you want to ask yourself, am I doing this out of attachment or avoidance?
Right.
That's how you really know. And it's the amount of food you eat, it's what you're eating, and it's when you're eating it. These are all our attachment things. So are you so attached to having a meal at a certain time that you can't function and you can't be loving and be awesome? That's the real question here. And this had happened to me so many times. I was so attached to the time of day that I would eat. And Josh can attest to this. Breakfast had to be at a certain time. Lunch had to be at a certain time. And then snacks had to happen. I grew up on snacks. So you have to be able to unattach from the time that you're eating. You have to be able to unattach to what you're eating and when. And the biggest thing about it is that once we can unattach from that, we free ourselves. We become free to do everything else. These feelings of holding ourselves captive, we're not going to die if we don't have food. We can go days without eating. So an attachment to having to eat right away, you might be avoiding something awesome that could be potentially happen to you.
Right. I think it's the biggest thing people don't realize is they let food make the decisions for them versus making the decision of what kind of life they want. And I think the biggest thing that whenever you're talking about food attachment, and you said realizing that there's certain conditions in our minds, is starting to see what areas of your life you are so attached that food is taking a precedence over your well-being. That seems to be the biggest thing. I mean, I have no problem with people being attached to the idea that they need to eat every day and they need to eat very specific nutrient-dense foods. But when it comes to being overwhelmed by the idea of needing a snack, just because you're used to that from childhood, like Steph said, that could definitely be holding you back from many things that you could be achieving and many things that allow you to enjoy your life more fully.
Yeah, we care about you all so much. We really want you to thrive and have the most fulfilling, awesome life possible. So when we know that certain things like this could be holding you back, we have to bring it up and share it with you. because we really want you to have that knowledge and understanding.
Certainly.
So any final words to close it out, Josh?
No, I think...
Or Bill, back there?
I think the best thing we can do is just reach out again on the Facebook page if this is an area that's new to you or an area that seems a little bit scary. A lot of times when we first find or come to a new awareness about ourselves and realize the type of self-sabotage that we're putting ourselves through, this can be a really scary idea or even just a difficult idea to grasp. So don't feel that if you're confused or even fearful of this concept that it's a bad idea to ask people or reach out. Let's all discuss this and even post ways that you can help other people break through their attachments and just help people shift their minds. I love to hear new ideas, new ways that maybe you've found to shift your brain, because we have a couple different ideas, but at the same time, there's always new angles.
Yeah, and we understand that a lot of these concepts are new to most people. So if it is new and very interesting and you want to know more about it, again, that's another reason to post on the Facebook page. Ask for more knowledge or ask for more clarity if it's confusing to you. So we're always here to help. We love you guys so much. We encourage you to for sure check in on the Facebook page, and we will see you in our next location in Yellowstone National Park.
Yeah, I love all of you, and I know Buff does as well.
Yeah, we hope great things happen for you today.
You're never getting older.